Hello there, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to my Law of Attraction workshop. I'm just waiting for others to tune in. I have set up my cameras, so I'm doing the live on YouTube and the live on Instagram. I see there's more people coming on the Instagram side. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is a bit of an experiment for this workshop. I'm in a new location and I've got two cameras set up, one for the Instagram live and the other for my YouTube live stream. My office is out of action at the moment, so I've done my best to improvise with where I am at the moment. So I'm looking backwards and forwards to both cameras to see Instagram and on YouTube. But thank you for tuning in. Sorry it's been a while that since the last workshop. Been quite very busy these last couple of weeks, but the workshops are back. So we're going to start with the Law of Attraction workshop. So I can see hello on the YouTube side, someone's tuned in now. So I'm going to be looking backwards and forwards. If anyone's got any questions, please do pop them in the comments, or on the Instagram side, on the bottom right hand corner, there is a speech mark with a question mark where you can pop questions in, which I will be able to see at the end. And at the end of the talk, I will do some Q&As on anything that you'd like to know about the Law of Attraction. So, hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. So the Law of Attraction, I have posted a lot about the Law of Attraction, and on my most recent YouTube video, I posted a video about the Law of Assumption. Now, not everyone is familiar with that term. The Law of Attraction is what's more known, but the Law of Assumption is the name of what we speak about essentially on the route of how to get your manifestation to work. The Law of Assumption is the term that was coined by Neville Goddard, which is basically assuming that your goals and your manifestations has already happened. So where we talk about where we manifest, we want to act like it's already real, act like it's already in our present reality, and begin to believe it in our minds. That is basically what the Law of Assumption is. It's just the term for that process. If you'd want to go through your mind and look at all the goals that you want to manifest, you want to act like it's already here. Because in the Law of Attraction, the teachings do state that what I put out, I attract, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, positive or negative. And when I've spoken about the Law of Attraction and affirmations, for example, I always make a point of saying you must say your affirmations in the present tense, as in the here and now, as if it's already here. Now, the reason for this is just, a lot of you will already know this anyway, but for those who are maybe newer to this concept or are just sort of awakening to their spiritual journey, the Law of Attraction works with energy and frequency. So just some basics. Everything is energy and frequency. Quantum physics has now proven this. We are not just a physical body. We are not just physical matter. Everything is energy and frequency, vibration. And things appear as solid, but it's not. It's just slower, denser frequency. And it has also been shown that we are connected or interconnected to a web of energy that surrounds us all, which proves that we are all interconnected to each other. And we are constantly interacting with the environment around us through our energy field. Our bodies give off electromagnetic energy. And this is it is literally like a web of energy. And based on our thoughts and our feelings, that signals what energy and vibration we put out to the environment, to the collective field around us. And the way the Law of Attraction works is it's a universal law that what you put out is going to be mirrored back to you. So if you put out a vibration that I am lacking, for example, then when you put that lack vibration out, that's going to be matched as a frequency, and then there's going to be a manifestation that matches what your point of attraction is. So if you think you're lacking this, you're lacking that, you don't have great health, you're lacking money, you've got a poor relationship, if you keep affirming that with your mind and with your heart, in other words, if you really take that on as a serious belief, that is what's going to create that vibration and go out to the world around us. So this is how we do attract things. So thoughts and our feelings are very important and key. So the basics of manifestation is that or manifesting, is it works on an energy and frequency basis. Now, how do you become mindful of your energy and frequency? That is being mindful of your thoughts and your feelings. So when we are born, well, just to backtrack a bit, our thoughts and our feelings are based on our beliefs. So the stronger the belief that we have, the more of the feeling that we're going to have. And the stronger the feeling, the more associated thoughts come with it. And then when we have more of those thoughts, that also influences the feeling. So it's kind of like a loop that we have going on here. But the reason why it's very important is that's the basics of how we communicate with the environment around us through energy and frequency. The reason why it's important is that when we are born, we are, from the first 7 years of our life, now I've spoken about this a lot and I will keep speaking about this because this is basics and this needs to be understood to know how to make serious changes and make our affirmations work and manifestations come true, is when we are born, for the first 7 years of our lives, we are in what's known as the theta brainwave state, which is actually the brainwave state of hypnosis. So we all know that you've got to be careful what you say and what you expose young children to, or this for this very reason. The theta brainwave state is the brainwave state we enter just before sleep. And it's this brainwave state that when you're in that state, there's no analytical, logical filters that we typically use as adults to discern and filter things out and determine where we file things and everything like that. We are literally in the theta brainwave state, taking everything literally as it comes, which basically means that we are downloading all of the time. So if for those 7 years you were either told or exposed to or observed behavior that was very much in lack, like I am not good enough, I am not worthy, I am not loving, I am not lovable, you are then going to begin to create what your core belief system will be. Now, it's very important to know what our core beliefs are, because if you are saying an affirmation, I'm infinitely abundant, or I have abundant health, or this or that, whatever it is, if you are not really believing it, it won't happen. Because the subconscious mind is so many times more powerful than the conscious mind. So if you've had programming and conditioning your life which makes you feel you are not good enough, or you're not lovable, or you're not worthy, in a sense we kind of self-sabotage ourselves, and our affirmations. I could be saying as much as I want, I'm infinitely abundant, or I love and accept myself, but subconsciously there's a thought and a belief that's saying, no I don't. No I don't. Because I have a memory of a parental figure, or maybe a teacher at school, or whoever would have been an influence at that time, either saying something to me or an experience that I have remembered that makes me feel not good enough. And because the subconscious mind is much more powerful, and because we have our rooted core belief system in place, that's where the biggest feeling will be. So I'm going to be continuously putting up the feeling of lack, even though my conscious mind is trying to say I'm abundant. So what you really need to focus on, first of all, is being aware of what your thoughts and your feelings are and what your beliefs are. It's important to be aware of what you want to manifest. It is important to say your affirmation, but it's equally as important to also acknowledge what you're thinking and feeling first, because we are manifesting all of the time. Even if it doesn't seem it, even if when we're trying to manifest, if it's a job or better relationships or whatever it is, or improve our health, we might not see it. We might not see physical evidence of what we are wanting to manifest, but we are still manifesting something because situations are still happening. So it's being aware of you as a participator in the universe and a creator of energy and frequency of what experiences that you want to create. So with that being said, if you know the basics, okay, that I am actually a spiritual being having a physical experience, I am actually energy and vibration, and I'm interacting with the environment around me through energy and frequency, and it's what I'm thinking, and more importantly, what I am feeling, that determines my reality. So now, I need to become more aware of what I'm feeling and conscious. And then when I'm aware if I'm not feeling good, begin to change that and see where the beliefs and the programming has come from. So it's important to do that, otherwise you're going to keep manifesting blockages or the same experiences that you don't want to manifest. But if you're wanting to manifest the real things that you want to manifest, and you might not have so many blockages and you don't know how to manifest them, then what you want to focus on is, as I said before, if focusing on the lack or the programming that we might have that tells us that we're not good enough prevents our affirmations from working, that's because we have this programming as our baseline frequency, a baseline feeling of not being good enough. So the obvious answer then is to switch it up and begin to feel good enough. Even if we can't feel it to begin with because we've still got this programming, if we work to let the programming go, it does become easier. But that is why affirmations are very powerful, because essentially it's the subconscious mind that prevents us from moving forward. It's the subconscious mind that prevents us or blocks us from manifesting what it is that we want. So we want to reprogram the subconscious mind. Essentially, when you reprogram the subconscious mind, you reprogram your beliefs, your way of thinking, you reprogram the energy that's going out, your energy in your body, and your energy bodies begin to shift. So how do we reprogram the subconscious mind? Well, one answer is going back into the theta brainwave state, the brainwave state that we would have been in for the first 7 years of our life, which is why a lot of people listen to self-hypnosis when going to sleep, for example. So you could listen to affirmations when going to sleep. I've done this before, and it does create some vivid dreams for me sometimes. But the reason why that's important is because we have to go through the theta brainwave state to get to sleep, which is delta. And I also have to go back through that brainwave state when waking. Because even if our conscious mind, our analytical mind, and we are asleep, the subconscious mind is always on. So even when we're sleeping, the subconscious mind is taking information in. The other way that we can reprogram the subconscious mind is through repetition. You know, when you learn something new, when you're learning to drive or whatever it is, practice makes perfect. It's because you begin to know it. You learn it, and your subconscious mind learns it, and eventually your body knows it better than you. And you can do things automatically. So that's how you can create a new habit. And once you have a new habit, it becomes so much easier. So that is also where affirmations come in. Now, yes, you may have some blockages that prevent the affirmations from working because you will have these established beliefs and feelings that say otherwise. However, you can still say your affirmations and repeat them time and time again, because that will eventually begin to make a shift in your subconscious through the repetition. And it's if you phrase the affirmation a certain way, because we can have a lot of resistance that prevents us from manifesting what we want and moving further forward. Even if we don't realize it, we can block our own success. So you can say something as very simple as, I am willing to release all resistance, or I am willing to release and let go. And by saying that multiple times, it will create the habit in your mind, a new belief. But even if you have some resistance, the psychology, the wording that you are saying, you are not committing yourself to anything for definite. You're saying, I am willing. In other words, you're acknowledging the possibility that you are not willing at the moment, or you're not wanting to move further forward, but you are willing to be. You are willing to do that. So by saying, I am willing to release resistance, at least sets you up to the possibility that you could begin to let go of any blockages that you might not be aware of. And through constantly saying your affirmations, through the repetition, it will eventually change your habits and rewire your neural pathways. There's so much evidence that supports this. And of course, consequently, when you begin to change your beliefs and then you shift your perspective, that's going to change your energy. When you change your energy, that's going to affect your manifestations. So that's one part. Second part is that was the two parts. One is the going into the theta brainwave state. The second is habituation, saying your affirmations repeatedly. Now, the third aspect of how to get your manifestations working is focusing on the law of assumption, which is assume that your manifestation has already happened. Now, I'm posting a lot more videos on my YouTube channel now. I uploaded a video on Friday, the law of assumption for beginners, and sort of telling the difference between the law of assumption and the law of attraction. So if you haven't checked that out yet, please do check it out. And if you are interested in seeing more videos, please do check out my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'm going to be uploading a video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that's a big shift and commitment, I know, but there will be 3 videos a week on YouTube as well as daily shorts. So if you'd like to check that out, please do so. But what I will say about the topic of the law of assumption, the law of attraction now, is focusing on the feeling that it's already happened. No matter what it is, you can mentally rehearse in your mind an activity that you're wanting to do. Visualize it to every detail and get the feeling. Now, this is very important, not just because of the energy and frequency, but because it's also been proven, and now this is amazing, studies of the mind and the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is impartial and indifferent. It does not know the difference between the outer physical reality and an internal experience. There's been loads of studies that have shown, for example, where participators would lift up some weights, and exercise their arm. Then other say that 3 times fast, participators would flex their arm, no weights, but would imagine weights in their arm. So all they're doing is just doing this just with their arm, but imagining there's resistance and weights. And the others are doing it with actual weights. Now, what the studies have shown is that the actual muscle mass had increased. So now it was either a bit more in some cases than the person who had the weights. Then those who imagined it had the increase of muscle mass more because they really got into the experience. And now, if you think of these athletes, these Olympic athletes and sports people going to meetings, they feel that they've already achieved and won. They've done it because they've really been there in their mind and made the experience happen. So this doesn't just affect our energy, it also affects the chemistry in our body. And this is why it's also very important to understand that when we imagine scenarios, so for example, we've had a traumatic experience, say that we're very angry about something, or we're very annoyed, or very upset, or traumatized, when we imagine it, because the subconscious mind finds it much easier to remember anything that has a really highly emotional charge, like if you were bitten by a dog when you were younger, that may have happened when you were 10, but because it was very scary, it scared you at the time, it might have been painful, your subconscious mind will memorize things much more vividly, and so that will stick out to you consciously. And then whenever you see a dog in your adult life, you immediately begin to go back to when you was a 10-year-old child, and the fight or flight system switches on. The memory of the dog that attacked you and being bitten and everything like that, it turns on that chemistry, so your body then begins to turn on the stress hormones and act like you're in that danger, even though this new dog might not be doing anything of the sort. It's that same approach that we have when it comes to our fears. We remember stuff from our past and it makes it very traumatizing for us. We relive it, even though it's not real, it's just a memory, but it makes our body change and it makes it a reality, which is why a lot of the time, have you ever been in a position where you feel that you're in the same relationship over and over again? You're in the same scenario over and over again. You seem to be manifesting the same thing. It's because we're constantly on this loop and repeating the same things time and time again. So subconsciously, it's been shown that we don't know the difference. So if we then rehearse in the same way, imagine or act that what we want to manifest is already real, and we feel it, then subconsciously we're programming our body to feel like it's already happened, and then the energy and vibration is going to shift to a new point of attraction, and then that is then going to be matched with a vibration in the energy field and come back as an experience. So that kind of summarizes how the concept of the law of attraction and the law of assumption works together. is you assume what you want to be real has happened, and that's what you attract. The key is to feel like it's already happened. Now, what are some really key ways to make you feel like it's already happened? And when we've spoken, you can use affirmations. We know that we need to change our subconscious mind, or the programming in our subconscious mind, to eliminate any potential blockages that we may have. But what's the real key power that we can give our manifestations when we might not have any blockages, or even if we do have any blockages? What super feeling can we learn to take on to overpower the fear and the anxiety and lack that we have? That is elevated emotions. Emotions like gratitude, love, joy, compassion. It's been proven and shown in several studies now that the heart is a direct communicator to the brain. Now, our heart has over 40,000 brain cells called sensory neurites. This was first discovered in 1990 or 1991, I believe. And there is a direct communication between the heart and the brain. It used to be thought that the brain governs everything and it sends the messages down to the heart. The brain responds to what the heart tells it. So the heart will send the message to the brain, and what rhythm that your heart is beating will tell the brain what chemistry to switch on. Now, the reason why this is important is because when we feel elevated emotions like gratitude, love, and compassion, this shifts our heart rhythm and our frequency. We become more coherent. Coherent means order and balance. So we all want to manifest what we want, right? We all want peace, love, and happiness, all that jazz. We want to be aligned with our true nature. To be in those states, we need to be in a state of coherence, natural order and balance and alignment. So that means we need to be in a state of coherence. Now, how do we get in the state of coherence? It's governed by our heart and our heart rhythm. For example, when we go into fear or stress or anxiety or anger, if someone was to hook you up to a heart monitor, or some of this new equipment that you can get now that actually measures the electromagnetic field, everything will be very jagged. Everything will be all over the place, incoherent. And of course, that message and signal is going up to your brain, which means your brain is now going to fire its circuitry incoherently. And when our brain is incoherent, we are incoherent. And this is, of course, then going to make our vibration and the energy that we're giving off to the environment jagged, mixed, and rooted in what the root cause of that vibration is, which is ultimately going to be fear and lack. So that's how that happens on that level. But if it's also been shown that though the way the heart beats and its rhythms, if we don't have the stress and the anxiety and have the feeling of love and gratitude, appreciation, inspiration, that is the key that changes our heart rhythm to beat in a much more coherent fashion. It sends a much more natural message of order and coherence, consequently, to the brain. And when the brain feels that, acknowledges and receives that, the brain becomes coherent. And it then switches on different chemistry. Over 1,400 different chemical reactions turn on when you make that shift. And not only does your body benefit, it begins to repair itself more, begins to restore itself more. You're no longer in the fight or flight rhythm. You've got the wonderful feel-good feelings coming in. Your immune system gets boosted. Your digestion improves. So many benefits. But also the energy and frequency that you would give out has shifted. The vibration has risen. The one feeling that I would like to hone in on is the feeling of gratitude. So all those other good feelings that I've mentioned will all do that same thing. But the reason why gratitude is important is because we're also wanting to talk about not just the feel good, but we want to manifest some stuff, don't we? We want to get our affirmations in motion and begin to actually manifest in the goals and desires that we want. Well, if we need to feel like it's already happened, then what's the best feeling to have to give our visualizations and our affirmations the power for us to believe it's already happened, even if our physical circumstances doesn't appear it to be? It's having the feeling of gratitude. Why? Because we feel gratitude for the things that we've already received. If we want to make our affirmations as real and tangible as possible, if we really want to push past any blockages and the mind telling us every reason why our bank account is so low, why we are not good enough, why our relationships don't work, we're really, oh, I've got this affirmation, I've got to make myself believe I've already got this, I've already got that. Well, what's the big power to push through all that, to make you really believe it, to then give that energy a chance to shift for you to actually attract it to you? It's adopting the feeling of gratitude, the same feeling that you would have felt when you've already received previous things. All the other manifestations that you would have had, whether it's conscious or unconscious, think of all the things that you are grateful for, that you have manifested, even if you've not realized it. Think of something you are grateful for, because that feeling is, oh, thank you. I'm so grateful to have received whatever it is. If you have that feeling, that's the vibration of gratitude. Oh, yes, thank you. That is what you're going to be putting out. So your vibration then is a feeling of having something to be grateful for. So if you're always feeling something to be grateful for, you're consequently always going to give out a vibration of, I've always got stuff to be grateful for. If you're putting out the vibration that tells the universe, I'm always grateful for so many things, then that's going to be mirrored back to you in the way of receiving things to always be grateful for. You could kind of see the universe, or the quantum field, whatever you want to call it, as a way of like programming. You're programming it what you want to come back. So you want to program everything that I want to have things that I'm grateful for because I know it's going to be good. Well, consequently, feel that remember the times when you've already received things. So let's say you want to manifest health, better health. The most powerful thing that you can do for that is to love your body exactly as it is. Even if there's things that you may not like, or you might be burdened, or you're in pain, or you've got constant reminders of the difficulties that you may have, but you want to get better, you want it to improve. Adopting the feeling of gratitude, thanking your body for allowing you to have this life. You would not be incarnated in this physical reality if you was not in your body. Your body is here supporting you, allowing you to have that experience. And there's many things that even if your body has caused you problem, or no, let's rephrase that. If you've had issues with your health or with your body, it's also doing everything it can to keep you alive, even if the programming and the energy might not be in alignment to what we want. It's serving you as best it can. The way to help heal your body is to love yourself, love your body. So if you want to improve your health, focus on the feeling of gratitude for everything that your body does. Your body does so many things, and even the subconscious mind controls a lot of our bodily functions that we don't even need to consciously, we take for granted. So having gratitude for what, and loving your body exactly as it is, that will shift the chemistry, because you are feeling, the feeling of gratitude alone will make big changes. Now you can research this yourself on Google or wherever you want to research it. It's very much documented and studied, especially when you look at the benefits of meditation. But really adopting that feeling of gratitude, and then that can also be applied to relationships, to anything. Because gratitude not only is an elevated emotion that will help improve the physical functions of your body, help raise your energy and vibration and your point of attraction, it's also so logical, because you would feel grateful for what you would want to manifest anyway. Imagine whatever it is that you want to manifest right now happening. How grateful would you feel? Imagine. I've done it with some things and it brings tears to my eyes how grateful I would be for certain things. Or the things that I've had, it's made me tear up sometimes because of how powerful it is. Now, adopting that feeling with all of your intentions of what you want to manifest is key in making it feel like it's happened. You want to believe it's already happened, feel like it's already happened, give it that power of the feeling of gratitude, or any of the elevated emotions, but gratitude especially, because you would naturally feel grateful when you receive your manifestation. You've already felt grateful, even without realizing it, for the other manifestations that you've had. And there's going to be something in your life that you can be grateful for. When I've said that before, I've had some people that have said, well, what if your thinking is so negative? What if you're so down and low that you can't find anything to be grateful for? Well, then go back to the very basics. If you're wearing clothes, be grateful for the clothes you are wearing. If you are breathing, be grateful that you are breathing. If you've got a roof over your head, be grateful for a roof over your head. You can look at the very smallest things that you would take for granted or may seem mundane, when they're not actually mundane. They're things that we are grateful for, because if we didn't have them things, we would feel the absence of that. So, with the law of attraction and the law of assumption, you want to be consciously aware that you are an energy being, and your energy and your frequency is what's determining what you manifest. So you want to be mindful of your thoughts and your feelings. You want to be aware of any blockages that you have that might be preventing you from your manifestations and from moving forward. There are several things that you can do to do that, one of them being affirmations and repetition. And then saying your affirmations in the present tense, adopting the law of assumption approach, assume that it's already happened, no matter what your physical circumstances say. Circumstances do not matter. And then coupling it with the powerful feeling of gratitude, or an elevated emotion of gratitude, saying thank you for this being in my experience. Now, if you're able to just do that alone, having the feeling of gratitude constantly in your life will naturally change anyway, because you're going to feel much better. Remember, habit. The more times you do something, it will become a habit. So the more times that you adopt the feeling of gratitude and have something to be grateful for, you're going to get in the habit to naturally start looking at the things to be grateful for. Because have you noticed that a lot of the times we can be in a habit of looking for problems when there aren't any? Straight away looking at what's the problem, what's the threat, what's the danger. That's our first approach. What's the danger? Oh, this is too good to be true. There has to be a catch. And I can understand that, because I've been in that same position with anxiety. The fight or flight. This is going back to the core beliefs. Our core beliefs, for the most part, for most of us, are going to essentially be rooted in fear. Because fear has been the main thing that is pumped around us at the moment in society. When there is the belief, the Darwinian theory, and the Newtonian physics has controlled the way life has been viewed, in that we are separate from each other. What goes on with me has no direct consequence to anyone else or the environment around me. And physics, this is all there is, just physical matter. It's all outdated science. There's so much science now that's proving what a lot of the Eastern traditions have already said, is that we are energy and we are frequency. And it's not made in a lot of, particularly in the West, not very accurate of how life works. So when we have our awakening, or when we have our moments where we realize that we are not our physical bodies and we can change, when we realize, oh, I have the power to manifest what I want, let's get to it. But because we've spent however many years, it's different, each of us are at different ages when we come to these realizations, we have layers of programming that we have adopted. We may have had a very different life before realizing that we're all energy and frequency. We could have had a very hard life, very fearful life. And so we have to go back and unpeel the layers. And we realize that a lot of the things that we are experiencing is based on our vibration. Now, we've manifested stuff without realizing it. So it's very important not to give ourselves a hard time, because we can't help manifesting stuff when we're not conscious of it. But this is why it's sometimes difficult to make the affirmations work and the manifestations work. A lot of people sometimes said to me, do affirmations really work? I've been doing them for so long. And I'm like, well, how many times have you been saying them? Well, 3 times a day. Okay, and what other thoughts are you saying the rest of the day that you've actually been saying for many years? I'm not good enough. I'm this, I'm that, or whatever. And because the subconscious mind is much more powerful, that's going to be the main adopting belief. But having the awareness of it will make a tremendous difference. Because when you have awareness of yourself, you don't attach to the thoughts and the ideas. It's kind of like the observer effect, which is why it's very important to be aware of our programming and be aware of what we're putting out. Because if I catch myself being anxious about something or overthinking something or having a reaction where I'm triggered and I'm contracting, I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on here? What's this feeling? Before I completely get enveloped by it, observe and realize, okay, I'm feeling this anxiety, I'm feeling this tension, I'm feeling this anger. What is this about? Why have I been triggered? Now, immediately, when we become aware and acknowledge what we're feeling, that's very helpful, because by acknowledging it, we don't become it, or at least it takes the sting out of it. What really makes it difficult, have you ever noticed when you try and do a meditation and you're trying to clear your thoughts, or you're just trying to have a focus point, and then your mind keeps wandering off, and then you catch yourself to come back to your focus point. And then it might take you a minute, 2 minutes, or it might take you 5 or 10 minutes to suddenly realize, oh, hang on a minute, I'm meant to be meditating here. And you realize that you've got completely engulfed in what these thoughts were saying, and you identified with it and lost focus. But when you identify, oh, I've gotten wrapped up in these thoughts again, bring myself back to here, you stop thinking about what you was imagining and you disidentify with it because you become more conscious. So when you have something that has triggered you, don't suppress it and block it down. Be aware of it, because what you realize is when you are aware of it, you are observing it. So that means if you are observing it, you are the one observing, you're not it. So if you're really anxious or stressed about something, for example, focus on it, not to give it energy, but to disidentify from that. So if you are being triggered and you don't want to manifest anything out of your fears, or if you notice some resistance when you say an affirmation or when you're trying to manifest something, acknowledge that. Observe it. Don't become it. Observe it. Because as soon as we observe it and take the attention off of this is who I am, we can look at it objectively. It will stop the frequency going out to manifest it. So if I'm being really anxious about something and I'm aware of my anxiety, I'm aware of my anxiety, I'm aware of it, I'm aware what I'm anxious of, or am I not aware? Okay, let me investigate. Oh, I know what I'm anxious of. I don't want to manifest anything to do with that. I'm not going to, because I know I'm not it. So the answer is to then look and see what my anxiety is and how to clear it. So I hope that that kind of makes sense with that bit. But it's important to become aware so that we don't identify. If you identify with something, like when you try a meditation, and it might take you 10-15 minutes to realize that you were having a meditate, you get completely engulfed in your thoughts. You want to have that focus point. So I hope that that has helped, and I'm going to leave the talk there and open up for some questions, so there's a nice amount of time in case there's some questions, because there's been quite a few people tuning in on the Instagram side. The YouTube side is still quite quiet because I'm still posting on that. But if any of that did make sense, and if you feel that you would like help with your affirmations, or like help reprogram the subconscious mind, how to clear the habits and the energy from your subconscious, I do offer one-on-one coaching, and I have a couple of coaching plans available, and I do have some spaces left. I also have some special offers on the pricing at the moment, which is a temporary thing. So if you are interested, please do drop me a message, or if you click the link in my Instagram bio, it will take you to my Calendly page, where you can book a free 20-minute call to talk about the issues that you would like to work on, if this is something that you'd be interested in. And it will so technology is wonderful. It will look at your calendar, my calendar, book a date and time in, and that's it. So if you are interested in any coaching, please do check out the link in my Calendly. And for those on Instagram, some of you are aware that I have a YouTube channel, but a lot of people are not aware still. I get so many requests about posting more videos on YouTube, but for some reason the algorithm or the posts don't always reach. So if you are interested in seeing regular videos from me, please do check out my YouTube, Dannyconsciousliving. It's the same as my Instagram. I'm going to be posting 3 times a week on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday. So there is a video already uploaded from Friday about the law of attraction and the law of assumption. There's going to be a new video uploaded tomorrow and Wednesday and Friday. Also, I'm for some reason unable to upload the replay of the live streams on Instagram at the moment, but I can on YouTube. And the wonderful thing is I'm streaming on both Instagram and YouTube. So I'm automatically able to upload the workshop on YouTube. So if you want to see any of the replays of my workshops and my live streams, please do check out my YouTube channel and subscribe if you're drawn to do that. It helps me out to build the channel, helps to put my messages out to more people. And if there's any requests of any videos that you would like me to make, then please do let me know. So with that said, if there's any questions that anyone has about what I've spoken about the law of attraction, the law of assumption, or manifesting, please do let me know. I also have noticed that there's been some badges that have been brought on Instagram. Thank you so much. I think there's quite a few comments that have pushed the badges up, but whoever you are, and if you're still in the live, thank you so much for the badges. I really, really do appreciate that, and it does help me out. So thank you very much for the purchases. So I'm just going to scroll up to some comments. There's no comments on the YouTube side at the moment. I had 2 people tune in there. Wonderful. So I'm just going to scroll down some comments on Instagram to see if there's any questions that I have missed, but please do leave some questions now if you have any. Vikash Bihertra 99. Oh, there's a heart next to your name. So if you bought a badge, thank you so much for doing that. And you have a question. Do you know about switch words and how do certain numbers frequency affect you? I'm not quite sure what you mean by switch words, but words do carry an energy and frequency. Everything does. And if you think of what words are, when we are creating a frequency with our voice, which is sound. So what we do say is important. Of course, we can say certain words and we can say something we don't mean, or we can have a different message inside to what we're physically saying, but the words still do hold a frequency. So it's very important to be aware of what you're saying. And it's also really a good technique with saying your affirmations. If you place your hand on your throat when you are speaking, you are feeling the vibration of your voice box, of your vocal cords, as you are saying certain words. So what's very powerful is to look at yourself in the mirror whilst saying an affirmation. Place your left hand onto your heart and your right hand onto your throat and say your affirmations, focusing on the feeling of gratitude in your heart. So you've got your left hand here, sending love and gratitude to your heart, putting your right hand onto your throat and feeling the vibration of the words and the affirmations you are speaking. So that vibration will help you imagine going out to the world, the frequency, the universe around you, the environment around you. And numbers have certain frequencies, absolutely. I'm not a numerologist or anything like that. I'm fascinated by numbers. I get lots of numbers that come up to me repeatedly. In fact, one of them's come up in the live. I noticed when I looked over my YouTube camera when the time was 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4 is coming up for me so much these last 2 months. It's either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 2, 1, 3, 4. So I can't tell you what each number means. I have to look that up because I'm not a numerologist. But if you are seeing repeating numbers, do look up what they mean. Numbers do carry very important, significant messages, and they are energy and frequency. Right, so Jen McLean IC 12342. It's a good number. From what I can remember, it's on purpose, change, and all sorts of stuff. It's very apt for me at the moment. Rosie's Rule Coach came in a bit late. Do you feel mantra chants may strengthen it? Oh, absolutely. Mantras are very, very powerful. And if you can actually make your affirmations a mantra. When we do our affirmations, we don't have to, remember it's the feeling, right? It's the feeling that's really going to make the affirmations work. So how we do them, it doesn't, it can matter to an extent, but it's whatever helps create the feeling. So you can get creative with it. So you can make your affirmations into a song, a chant, a poem, or you can write your affirmations. Some people use an affirmations journal where instead of saying the affirmations, they want to write it, because there is something about when you get a pen to paper and write the answers down, it does something in the brain. I don't quite understand the full science behind that, but I still like to write things down rather than type where I can. So if you have I don't know any particular mantras off the top of my head that can couple with an affirmation, but I'm sure you'll be able to find that. There's loads of stuff on YouTube and everything. Or make your own mantra, and give it a lot of power, get into the feeling of it. Yes, absolutely. And don't worry if you've come in late and you've missed anything. This will be re-uploaded on my YouTube channel, the replay. So if you want to come back on any of the, and for those who are also tuning in now, this will be uploaded. I do get requests to upload the replays on Instagram. Unfortunately, if for some reason I'm not able to do that properly at the moment, so this will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. Thanks, you are most welcome. And Vikas, thank you for your answer. You are most welcome. So I'm just going to scroll up whilst I'm waiting for the next comment or question to come in to see if there's any questions that have come in whilst I was speaking. There's no comments on the YouTube side yet. That's fine. I'm being very careful not to knock my camera over as well here. I'm very delicately just checking. No, I can't see any questions at the moment. So if there see any new questions coming in, the space is yours. Oh, there we go. What would be the proper time in day to write or repeat affirmations? Anytime. I know that there is some things like certain practices, like whether it's yoga or qigong, or certain practices where there might be a particular time of day. With affirmations, it's all the time, because this is the thing. We think of affirmations as positive statements and to manifest, but really and truthfully, they are just thoughts and statements, the same as what we're thinking 24/7. All of our thoughts are affirmations. All of our beliefs and concepts are affirmations. What we call affirmations are these same things, but we are choosing to consciously focus on them and make them a reality. So this is why, again, it's important to be aware of, what any negative thoughts would be, or what our blockages would be, because they will have their own thoughts. So they're an affirmation. So if you say to me, so if someone was to come up to me and say, Danny, do affirmations work? I've done them 3 times a day for the last week, and I don't know if I'm feeling any different or I've seen any differences. And I'm like, right, okay. So you've been saying them 3 times a day. What other thoughts have you been saying throughout the day? Subconsciously, or without realizing it, that they're not good enough, or they're not worthy, or it's not going to happen. Is this really going to happen? Now that could be hundreds. And those are equally affirmations. An affirmation is an affirmative statement. Just because we call something an affirmation doesn't make it a separate thing. It's still the same as our thoughts. So if you have thoughts and beliefs and assumptions 24/7, you can do affirmations 24/7. So the short answer, or long answer to your question, is no, it doesn't matter what time. However, it doesn't matter the time of day. It's the time. It's only if there's a particular time of day that influences your state of being. If you find that when you get up in the morning, and if you might already have some spiritual practices, you might like to do your meditation in the morning, or a yoga practice, or whatever it is, or the same for the evening, then you're in a more likely place to be in a more coherent state and a much more receptive state to making your affirmations feel real for you. So the best time to do them would be if there's any time of the day where you feel that you're more relaxed, you are able to be at least more receptive to them, where there's least stress or resistance, then say them. Other than that, you can also say them anytime. You can say them whilst you're at work, whilst you're traveling to work, whilst you're walking, when you catch yourself in the mirror. You can say them anytime. Any other questions that anyone may have? Actually, I quite like sitting here. I've got more space here than my room where I've been doing the last few workshops. It'd be great when my office is back, but I've been quite creative. I've managed to find a workplace where I can see my phone and see my iPad, so I can get both streaming at the same time. Yeah, so it's really interesting. I have said before to a lot of people. I've said it to on the live streams, and I've also said it via DMs to a lot of people who do request videos. A lot of my content is becoming more video. A lot of the material and the teachings that I share on Instagram, I'm going to be creating in video format and full time on YouTube, because I think I love doing the lives and I love being on camera speaking to people, but it's really good to get to more of a personal approach. I will always be posting, the infographics and stuff on Instagram, but I think it's really good to get the video messages across. So to help explain certain topics a bit more clearly, because we're at a point now where stress is just running riot for a lot of us, and a lot of people are asking questions about how they can improve the quality of their lives. Or those of us who have already sort of awoken to all this are still finding it difficult to peel back the layers when we talk about clearing our subconscious patterns of behavior. So I do hear this a lot. A lot of people who go on YouTube, they say, I'm going to post this video, this, that, and the other. I have the time at the moment where I can commit to the 3 videos per week. So the next one is going to be tomorrow. There was one uploaded on Friday. If anyone new is tuned into the live stream, please do check out my YouTube channel and the Law of Assumption for Beginners video. I'm going to be creating a Law of Assumption, Law of Attraction video series. So there will be another video this week about the Law of Attraction and the Law of Assumption. There's also this workshop that will be reposted on there as well. But yes, if there's any requests that anyone does have, I have been sent quite a few requests already, so I do have a list of topics of videos to create, but I'm always open to what people wanting to know about is what I will share about. And it's fun creating them, it's fun doing them. So I can't see any more questions have been coming in. I'm going to give it a couple more moments just to see if there's any more questions before signing off. And just to say again, if anyone is interested in one-on-one coaching or would like to work with me on a one-to-one basis to help you align with your higher self, let go of your subconscious fears and habits that might be holding you back, I do have the coaching option available with a discount at the moment. There's a couple of different options, more of a long-term coaching or short-term coaching, and I do offer a free 20-minute call to discuss the details of this. If you would like to check out what it is that I offer first, you can click the link in my bio on Instagram. It will take you to my Calendly page and you can book your call with me. Rosie, is it counterproductive to have a deadline? So I have mixed feelings about deadlines. Now, I know it's used quite a lot because and very successfully for a lot of people in businesses or organization or whatever, and for manifesting, gives you a deadline, something to work on. It absolutely can work. However, it can also put a lot. I think it depends on the individual and what your mindset is and what your perspective is. Because I've had it personally in both ways, and I've witnessed it with others both ways. Sometimes having a deadline gives you the motivation and the energy to boost yourself up and go for it and give you a focus, and it's been proven successful. Other times it can put a lot more stress and pressure on you to get something done by a certain time. it can create more stress. And when we get more stress, we actually become more incoherent and we can't focus more. And I've had it when once the pressure's been lifted, I've actually naturally been more productive and been better. So deadlines are a bit of a funny one. It depends on the situation of the person. However, if we're talking about manifesting things, we can, what I always say is there is divine timing. Our mind might think of an ideal time to get this manifested by, this is the deadline I'm going to put for that. But our higher self and the universal intelligence that takes care of the details of how a manifestation comes into place might not see it that way. So what I always say, and what I always do personally, is I will acknowledge what it is that I want to manifest. I actually say to the universe, this is my preference. So this is my conscious choice of what I want to manifest. However, if my idea of what I want to manifest isn't actually the best idea for my highest and best, then I don't want it. I'll consciously think, oh, manifesting this will be great for this, that, and the other, but it might not be a good idea. And so I always set the intention to always align for what is for my highest and best, because even if I don't know what it is, it's going to be fine because it's for my highest and best. So if you want to manifest a job by a certain time, or whatever it is, and you get a job by a certain time, but it's not the actual job for you, the universe will shift things around where it will come at the right time. So this is another key aspect with manifesting, is to actually let go and let the universe take care of the details. Don't get too involved in the hows and the whens and what fors, because it's the exact same. If you use the analogy of you planting seeds, which is like what we're doing, we're planting seeds for our affirmations for our manifestations to start shooting up. When we plant seeds, we know there's a natural law and a process, as long as there's the right environment and the right conditions for them to grow. You put the seeds in the soil, you give it some water, you give it some light, or whatever it is that it needs. You don't go around and unbury the seeds to see how you're getting on. You know there's a law and a process. You let go and let it do its thing. When the time is right, the shoots will start coming through. If I say, right, I have a deadline, these seeds have got to be shooting up by this date. Well, they might not, because there's natural law and a process. So essentially what we want is when we want to manifest something, we think it's going to give us a benefit and a purpose. And a lot of the times it will, of course. But we can be limited in our perspective on what is for our highest and best, whereas the universal intelligence and our higher self can see the whole picture. And I don't know about you, but I always want what's my highest and best, because I know it's always going to be good no matter what it is. Now, I might have a preference of what I would like, so I'll state that preference, but I always say if it's for my highest and best, and if it's my highest and best, and in alignment, and when the time is right. So when you have that approach, it's very difficult to put in things like deadlines. I think it depends on the business, it depends on the topic, it depends on the situation and the person. So I hope that helps. But with that, we are 2 minutes left to go for the hour. I'll allow a couple more minutes just to see if there's any more questions coming in. But if not, then that will be the end of this Law of Attraction workshop. As well as the 3 video uploads on YouTube, I'm going back to the 3 workshops per week. So the next workshop, what day are we today? We're Sunday, aren't we? So I'm going to be doing a workshop, possibly, I think it's going to be on Tuesday this week. So I'm going to be doing a workshop again on the subconscious mind. I've done a couple of workshops on the subconscious mind, but it's been very requested to do more, because the subconscious mind is the root cause, or not the root cause, it's the root thing to work on to get things shifted with things like our affirmations and manifestation. We're realizing that the layers that we need to let go of in order to get what we want is in the subconscious. Yes, it is in the energy field where we want to clear our chakras and our energy, but what we are believing and attracting is also influencing our energy field. We can have certain things that are going on with our chakras and our energy field, but if we've got certain beliefs that are attracting certain experiences, that's going to influence the energy. So we really want to start at the subconscious level and then begin to reprogram, so that we can actually practice, not not just understand all this from an intellectual perspective, but live it, you know, and practice it. Rosie, the time. So the time for that, it will be, I think it's going to be the same sort of time. 7 p.m. is quite an ideal time for me. I know there's different time zones, so I try and I can't list all the time zones. So I typically what I do is I list the UK time, Eastern Central Time, and Indian time. But what I will do is I'm going to put a post in my community tab on YouTube about the workshop, and also I'll put a story on Instagram about the workshop as well. And one of these reminder tags with the time. New York, I think so. New York, I think it's about 5 hours behind me. So that'll be 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Probably the same time as today. Basically, I could have just said that, couldn't I? Same time as today, rather than going for everything. But yeah, and that's pretty much the best sort of time that I'm able to do for the full hour. But thank you so much, everyone. I hope that everyone has enjoyed this workshop, who've attended it live, and for those on the replay. As I said, the live is going to be uploaded on YouTube now. I'm not able to re-upload it onto Instagram, but it will be straight on my YouTube under it's got its own live tab on the main YouTube channel. So if you want to check out the replay, please do go there. But thank you so much, everyone. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, and evening, and I will keep you updated for the next workshop. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Now to end it here.